What's going on, everybody? Donnie here with another video, and today we are starting my first GM mode of NHL 19. I haven't really touched it at all until now. I went into the rosters, I changed a bunch of players, and I added in a lot of the guys that we haven't seen yet. Added to the roster, obviously, because I haven't played an NHL game or aren't on a team, such as the KHL players or guys that are in college. I went and I added all the top prospects, the Russian prospects especially, some college prospects, and a bunch of different Rangers prospects for the future. Obviously not all of them are going to pan out, that's not how that works. But yeah, I decided, this year, especially with the Rangers being pretty mediocre at this point, there's no better time than now to really get into it and make a GM mode that can last for a while, because I want to see how good the team is going to be in the future too. I'm as interested as anybody else, so obviously I'm just gonna go with it, see what we can do. I really think that this is a good idea at this point. I created a lot of different players and I added some players. So what I'm gonna do first off, as you can see, we're doing the Rangers. As I said before, we're gonna go straight to the lines. I think this is the most important part of it all, so everybody can see who I added in and who I've got on what team. I'm going to leave the assistant coach on. We're going to do the scratches because I don't think they're in yet. So Lias is 75. Heedle's is 77. I think that's fair at this point. In the AHL, we've got a bunch of different guys scratch. Ronings is 67. Nils Lundqvist is 59, but he's 18, so he's got plenty of time. Let's see who's on the actual lines, because I know Kravtsov's a 77. I think that's perfect for him at this point because he could step in and play NHL time. However, we're going to leave him off of the NHL roster as much as possible this year. He'll probably get called up at some point, not on purpose. But I feel like that's the best way to keep it realistic because he's not going to be on the team this year. He'll be on the team next year. So I'm going to roll with that for now. We'll see how that works. But yeah, so let's go through, first off, let's go through the roster. And so everybody can see who we have as it loads up. Trading, whatever. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, here are their top prospects. Obviously these are who we've got: Kravtsov, Heedle, Lias, the big three. Goaltenders, we've got Shesterkin here, medium elite. He'll be in the AHL this season. I'm not gonna let him play NHL games, which is fine because we have Hank and Gorgiev, so we don't really need him there. But yeah, lots of rookie skaters. Some guys that aren't signed yet, obviously. But yeah, we've got a lot of guys that haven't skated in the NHL yet. But I've got the top prospects there. Howden has a chance. It's as realistic as possible. And yeah, so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with it. As you can see, the Rangers have a lot of cap space. There's really not that much that I can do at this point with the cap space, as we are very close to the regular season. This is September 17th, September 19th in real life, so we're pretty close to what actually goes on here. But first things first, we're gonna have to assign scouts because this year's pick is extremely important, as everybody knows, obviously. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go higher up the remainder of the scouts, since we have all that money to spend. Can bring in 3 new scouts. That'll work. I'll get 1, 3. I mean, they make nothing, so offer him. Offer Petterstrom. Gotta get Petterstrom out here. He wants 2 years. He can have it, and we'll roll with that for now. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna send scouts out before we start simming. I'm gonna sim through the preseason here. I'd like to make the lines, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up some of the prospects like Kravtsov, because I'd like to see him at least play preseason games. Okay, so they're already out. Okay, the top 2 are already out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to scout some other teams while we're at it. Some teams that may be interested in trading for our players later in the season. So Nashville's a good start because they'll be good this year. I'll get back to that off of the video. So what we're going to do is, I feel like at this point it's a great idea to shift around the roster a little bit. Call up some of the guys in the system that are not up yet. And so we'll start with that, and we'll send down McLeod. Can go Bolesky. That's fine. Can definitely fix my lines if it means I get rid of them. Also would like to bring Smith up because I feel like he can be a part of the team this year. Boo Neves, obviously, get Howden up, and then we can send down the rest of them. Let's see. Holland can go. I should have enough spots on the. Okay, I'm 2 over. So what I'm gonna do is I'll leave Neves and Howden down. That's what I'll do. We'll call up Smith because I feel like he's gonna make the team. He's gonna have to make the team if he wants to be anything with this organization. So we're gonna definitely need him to do something. I'll put best lines on, and then I'll go into the lines and actually see what we've got brewing here. So I'm definitely looking to sit the vets and give these guys a big role. So we'll get Kravtsov, Hedel. This will be a hell of a line. And Booch. Throw Elias in the second line role. Actually, you know what? We'll throw Elias on the left wing with Kreider and Zibby. Zook, Hayes, and the Mesnikov. Spooner can play center. That's fine. Let's see who's scratched first off before we go off. Okay, so D-men. Gonna sit the starting D-men, the usuals. So I'm gonna need him in the lineup. I'd like to see what he can do. He's gonna be the AHL as well. Stahl can definitely be swapped out for one of the scratch D-men. I know what D'Angelo. I'm gonna see what Keandre Miller can do. He will not be making the roster as well, so we'll roll with that for now. And then in net, let's see if we can. Let's go to roster moves and let's call up Igor and see what Igor can do. Because I'd like to see what all the guys that I'm not going to see this year are capable of. So let's throw Gorgiev down just for now. Then we'll have Igor start the first or second or both preseason games just to see what we've got going on here. So unfilled, obviously, got to put Igor in. Give that a nice little swap. He's a 78 right now, which is realistic. You know, he's playing over in the AHL. In this, at least, he'll be in the AHL. So 78 should be able to hold his own. Obviously, in real life, he's in the KHL, but there's nothing we can really do about that with the KHL not being in it. So let's sim up. I'm going to skip the owner goals since they're not going to be pretty anyway because we're probably not going to reach there. Budget, I'm going to put it all on scout salaries and travel. And then the rest of it can go to, I don't know, arena operations, I guess. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, we're playing the Flyers in MSG, the first game. We're going to simulate kind of slow. I'm not going to go right through the period, but I will speed it up just slightly. Let's see what. Okay, there's a goal. There. Wow, Elias scored. Good for him. And then Lindblom beats Hank. Okay, apparently Hank is starting. So next game I'll put Igor in. Shattenkirk scores in his return back to being able to play hockey. That's always nice. Shots are 8-8 right now, so that's fine. More than anything, I just want to see if the team can compete, because the compete is important, especially with the youngins. Because it shows that they're going to be able to develop as the season goes on, especially with Fog of War and everything, where you have to be scouting quite frequently. But I'm very interested to see how the youngins do. So Voracek scores on Hank. Nolan Patrick scores less than a minute later, and it's going to be 3-2. So we'll just roll through this, and then we'll take a look. I'll edit the lines to have Igor starting for sure. And, I mean, we're out shooting them. Let's see. Let's go by shots. Go all events. It flies by for sure. We're on a power play. Let's go back to goals. Oh, Mark Stahl scores. That's not realistic. We've seen Mark Stahl score before, but not recently. Can't even lift the puck. Alright, let's see. OT here. Nothing. 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 Hold on. And in the shootout, we're going to win in the shootout. Wow. I guess Boo got up and scored. Wow, good for him. You know, good for Boo. He tried his best. Alright, so that's a big shootout win. Kravtsov is injured. That's not ideal. How injured is injured here? What are we talking? Injury report. I don't think it updates right away. Maybe not. Injured neck, playable. Okay, so he'll play. You know, it's preseason. He'll be alright. He'll live. Okay, let's sim to the next preseason game and then change the lines up. I don't care about the promotion nights very much. I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, so we got some scouts. Welcome to the team, I guess. I mean, we have 19 scouts now, so they better do their job. That's all I know. So, okay. This is not the lineup that I'm looking for. I don't know what happened here, but I guess everybody got sent down to the AHL already. That's nice. That's what we were looking for. Which is fine. I mean, we're gonna have other guys called up for so they really sent everybody down to the AHL. All right, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna call up the prospects because I'd like to see them play, and yeah, we'll go from there. Cause I'm not super worried about like guys like Booch. You know what you're gonna get out of them. They're gonna be studs. So Kravtsov and Hedel, we'll call them up and we'll send down Bolesky because he sucks. We'll leave these guys up. Let's see. Is there anybody that's on the team that can be? Can Mark go down? Mark can go down. Okay, just chill, Mark. We don't need you right now. So edit best lines with the roster up here. I think Igor should still be on the team. If not, we can give him a quick call up. Let's see, goalies. No, they brought Nell up. Okay, so maybe we can just call up Igor without having to send anybody down. That would be very ideal. That's the one thing about assistant coach. He's gonna be very annoying. Okay, so Igor, best lines, and then we'll go fix the lines. Make sure Igor's starting, and we'll get a game in here. One more preseason game, and then we're gonna stop for there. I don't think these are gonna be very long unless people want them to be long. I don't really care. I mean, I can grind out hours if I have to. Playing GM mode, I've always been able to play GM mode for a long time, so I've never really had issues with that. So if anybody really wants me to play for a long time and make long, like 30-40 minute videos, I could definitely make that happen. So just let me know in the comments. Yeah, let's roll with it. We're gonna play Pittsburgh. We could probably get another preseason game after this. It's only 12 minutes in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to goals again and 8 times sim, so it sims a minute at a time. And just see, because I know Pittsburgh probably has some good players going. Okay, Lettieri scores on Muse, one of their prospect goalies. I just want to see how the boys are doing. So let's make sure we have the right roster this game, and we'll check the box score afterwards just to see. Kessel scores on Igor. That's, I mean, not surprising. Kessel's a very good player. Sim the period. It's going to be, okay, Yegor scores. There it is. So it's a 2-1 lead here going to the third. So, yeah, I figured, you know, let's condense some time here. I'm not going to sim every game, obviously, like this. Dominic Simone scores. They have a power play. 2-2. We're out shooting them just slightly here. We're gonna, another OT game, maybe? Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, it's looking like another OT game. So let's go, and let's see. Overtime. Game over. Mika scores 3-2 victory. Let's take a look here. Let's check at the stats. Stats are kind of important in the preseason. Let's see who played a lot. Rykov scored and played 26 minutes. That's something. Keandre Miller got out there. 5 shots. You know, he's throwing the puck on the net. Hedel played. Gilmore. Kravtsov had an assist. Good for him. Howden. Lettieri got a goal. I don't know. Maybe Lettieri's like a dark horse to make the team. What do I know? At this point, what do I know? I really don't know anything. You know, it's very interesting to see how we're going to analyze this. But I'd like to see whoever has a good preseason could like easily find themselves on the roster playing big boy games here. So let's take a look. Gorgiev and Nell. That's perfect. Okay, so we'll sim one more. For sure, and then I'll end this episode, and I'll have another episode in a couple days probably. I'd say maybe by the end of the week, maybe like Monday, who knows. But yeah, we'll definitely see. I can grind these out because I have a fun time doing this. At least it's like a very enjoyable time. So we're playing the Islanders. Not really looking for much out of the team because we don't have most of the roster. Guys like Shattenkirk, Hank, and all of them are in the AHL, just sitting there on the roster right now as they don't play games. So 0-0, pretty lame period. 6-3 in shots after an entire period. Let's hope the second picks up a little bit because we could definitely use just a little bit of action here. This has been a slow period as well, but not as slow as last period. We've had power plays. We're not scoring on the power plays, which is just not great. But what do you expect? And it's going to be a third period 0-0 game going into the third here. We're about a quarter way through, no goals yet. 18-16 in shots. So I don't know. The goalies are standing on their heads apparently. A Clutterbuck scores. That's not what I'm looking for. That's the opposite of who I want to score on me. Like, they couldn't have said Barzal or something like that. I see Clutterbuck. If Clutterbuck ends with the game winner, I'm just going to be... and Sislo. Oh, okay. So we lost 3-0. That's shocking, really. Absolutely shocking. I don't even want to look at the stats. I'm sure Gorgiev had a great game. He had 26 saves, so he'll take that. Kravtsov leading us in points in the preseason. That's ideal. Okay, so what we're going to do is, before we start, we're going to set the main roster. So that's going to be a lot of call-ups and send-downs. Thinking Howden's got to go down, so that's fine. Miller and Kravtsov, they're going to be sent down regardless. So let's just get the big boys up. D'Angelo. And then we'll call up Heedle. And send down Holland. That's perfect. And then let's go set the lines real quick. And then we'll roll with it for the rest of the season. At least the preseason. So let's see. We're going to do Kreider, Zibanejad, and Buchnevich. That's a guarantee at this point. The next line... Hayes, let's see. Let's get Heedle some real ice time here. Nemesnikov. D'Angelo is playing forward. Are we missing a forward or something? Like, is there an extra slot? That's not ideal. I mean, honestly, here, we'll send down Rykov and call up a forward, and then D'Angelo will have a roster spot, which is what we need. So, in the system, forwards. Let's see. Is there anybody here that doesn't suck? You know, honestly, let's get Boonies up here. I mean, we know he can play, so that's all that matters at this point. Give me best lines, and then we'll see. Because it should throw D'Angelo on defense. Okay. So we'll have to move Heedle back up and swap them. Elias. And then... There we go. So Elias, Spooner, Nemesnikov. So we've got Buchnevich, Zibanejad, and Kreider. Heedle, Hayes, Zuccarello, Elias, Spooner, Nemesnikov, Fost, Neves, and Vesey, which is actually a pretty good line. Shea, Shattenkirk, Stahl, Pionk. We're going to switch that. D'Angelo, Pionk. And then Clayson and Stahl. And then Gorgiev and Nell. I'm about that. You know, for the last game, obviously, because Hank's going to come up and play the last... he'll play the last preseason game and then start the season, obviously. So we'll roll with that. Should I? Maybe I'm just gonna change that now. I'll call Hank up. Doesn't really matter at this point because we don't really need to see goalies. We kind of know who the future is at this point. So we'll send Nell down. Get Hank up. Best lines. And alright, so that's going to be it for this episode of Rebuilding Broadway. The next episode will be quicker, I'm sure of it. I had to do a lot of logistical stuff at this point. I'm going to set up the scouts for next time. So whenever the next episode comes out, there will be scouts aplenty across, and we'll be able to see. There should also be a central scouting report, which would be pretty interesting. I'd like to see because the comparisons are very cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to end the video now. Thank you all for watching. If you watched this long, this is 21 minutes in. It's a very, very long video, so I really appreciate all the support. Let me know any comments you have or something you want to see, and I'll see if I can do that because I'd like to do the closest job to real and also keep it fun for people to watch. So make sure you leave a comment and subscribe, and I will see you all later.